The Black Death, a gruesome plague, swept across Europe from 1347 to 1351. Unleashed by the bubonic plague, it killed millions, leaving a trail of devastation. One-third of Europe's population perished, altering the course of history. Traveling along trade routes, it reached Europe on Genoese trading ships. The plague spread rapidly, aided by poor sanitation and overcrowding in medieval cities. Rats infested with plague-carrying fleas thrived in these conditions. The disease, highly contagious, manifested in agonizing symptoms: fever, chills, vomiting, and painful swellings. Death often followed within days of the first symptoms appearing. The Black Death's most immediate and devastating impact was the catastrophic loss of life. Densely populated cities were hit particularly hard, with mortality rates exceeding 50% in some areas. Entire villages were decimated, leaving farmland untended and crops unharvested. The labor force, decimated by the plague, led to labor shortages and soaring wages. Peasants, empowered by their newfound bargaining power, demanded higher wages and better conditions. Trade, the lifeblood of medieval Europe, ground to a halt. The social fabric of Europe, already strained by famine and war, unraveled further in the wake of the Black Death. The Black Death's horrors left an enduring mark on European art and literature, reflecting the widespread fear and despair of the time. Artistic representations of the plague often depicted grim scenes of death and suffering. Giovanni Boccaccio's Decameron, a collection of novellas set in plague-ridden Florence, captured the fear and moral complexities of the time. Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, written a few decades after the Black Death, offered a glimpse into a society transformed by the plague. The Ars Moriendi, or Art of Dying genre, emerged, offering guidance on how to die a good Christian death. This newfound awareness resonated through art and literature, infusing them with a somber realism and a heightened focus on the spiritual and existential. The Black Death profoundly impacted the Church, the dominant institution in medieval Europe. As the plague ravaged communities, people turned to the Church for solace and explanation. However, the Church's inability to explain or alleviate the plague's devastation shook the faith of many. The sight of priests succumbing to the plague alongside their parishioners undermined the Church's authority. The sale of indulgences, promises of salvation in exchange for money, drew criticism. The Black Death exposed the limits of the Church's earthly power and fueled dissent. Many priests, fearing infection, abandoned their flocks. This shortage created opportunities for new religious orders, such as the Flagellants, who practiced extreme forms of penance. The Black Death left a complex legacy on the Church, testing its doctrines and shaping the religious landscape of Europe. The Black Death, despite its horrors, had unintended consequences that contributed to the eventual transformation of Europe. The massive population decline led to a surplus of land and resources. Peasants, now in high demand, could demand higher wages and better working conditions. The feudal system, which had dominated Europe for centuries, began to weaken. The Black Death acted as a catalyst for social and economic change, paving the way for new labor relations. With labor scarce, there was a greater incentive to develop labor-saving technologies. This period saw advancements in agriculture and the adoption of new crops. The Black Death inadvertently fostered technological progress and economic diversification. The Black Death, a period of unimaginable suffering and loss, stands as a stark reminder of humanity's vulnerability to pandemics. Its impact extended far beyond immediate mortality, reshaping European society and culture. The plague's legacy is a complex tapestry woven from death and devastation, but also from resilience and adaptation. The Black Death teaches us the importance of public health measures and the interconnectedness of societies. It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, humanity can adapt, innovate, and emerge stronger. The lessons from the Black Death remain relevant today, urging us to prepare for future pandemics and build more resilient societies.